Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajit, and today I'm just going to discuss a very important information about what kind of asset class I'm focusing since last 3 years, and I'm just going to share all those informations with you guys. Really, I don't invest, the big companies in the sense the companies who are, the listed like Apple, Google, and Microsoft, because those companies are there is a limited growth opportunities. If they very nicely grow, it might be between 10 to 15% or 20% a year. But I'm focusing those kind of the companies where we can make good profit in terms of if I'm investing suppose $100 in 2022, in next 5 years how many x I can increase my return. If that return is the good return will be there and exponential growth is possible, then definitely I consider myself for the investing. So let's start to discuss about now. I'm focusing since 2019 in the uranium industry, and one of the good reports I have received in year 2019 from the Tropical, and I really enjoys that all the data they collected and they published, and I love to share with all you guys so you can understand where is the energy industry, where is the nuclear sector, those nuclear sector doing the mining work for the uranium mining, and those uranium mining provide us a clean, a green energy. So this is I'm just going to share with you first the nuclear fuel cycle. So this presentation has just helped us to understand how uranium industry and mining industry is specifically positioning themselves. Common details I'm just going to share, like how is the current demand projections, environment concerns, production cost, and global inventories. And the last phase of this presentation is current market dynamics, global demand, supply dynamics, and is to process to extract the uranium package it as a powder referred to as a uranium concentrated, or you can call that the yellow cake. So they try to take out that with all the other waste materials. After that, there is the next process is refining. So refining removes the impurity from the uranium concentrate and change its chemical form to uranium trioxide U3O8. After the refining, the next step is conversion. So what is happening in the conversion? For the light water reactors, uranium trioxide is converted to a uranium, and they do prepare it for enrichment. For a heavy water reactor, it is converted into powder uranium form. Then again this is for the next step is the enrichment. So uranium is made up to two isotop U38 and U235. Only 235 atoms, which makes up 0.7% of natural uranium, are involved in a nuclear reactor. So that means fission activity. The enrichment process increase the concentration of U235 to between 3% to 5% enriched uranium. So that's what they do in that cycle. Next step is a fuel manufacturing. So natural or enriched uranium dioxide pressed into pelts, which is packed at a high temperature. These are packed into stainless steel tubes, sealed, and then assembled into a fuel bundles. After that, the next step is a nuclear reactor are used to generate electricity. U35 atoms in the reactor fuel fission, creating heat to generate steam to drive turbines. To fuel, bundles in the reactor need to be replaced as the U-235 atoms are depleted typically after 1-2 years. The spent fuel is stored or reprocessed. And the last is spent fuel management. The majority of the spent fuels safety stored at the reactor site. The small amount of spent fuel is processed. The processed fuel is sometimes used to European and Japanese restores. On this slide, we are just going to understand what was the uranium historical price and how that worked out in past. So if you see here, so uranium price was, this is price in dollar per LB. There is a time period in March 28, 1966, 2 miles length. So what kind of the situations changes, the different kind of the disaster, what changed according to the time in the uranium industry. So if you see here, April 26, 1986, Chernobyl accident disaster happened. After that, there is Olympic Dam copper uranium mine fired in October 21, 2001. So these are incident happened in the past. So these are some accident and some disasters. After that, there was in April 6, 2003 flood to the MacArthur River mine. So MacArthur River mine based in Saskatchewan, Canada, and there was one flood at that time in 2003. After that, there is again April 5, 2004 flood in the Cigar Lake. This is the MacArthur River and Cigar Lake. Both the projects are the Camco. So there was interruption in the production because there was a flood. October 22, 2008, second flood at the Cigar Lake project. So once there is any kind of interruptions at that time, the price for the uranium went to the roof. So this is the time for 2006, 2007 when the uranium was almost traded near about $140 per LB. After that, again some uncertain accidents was happened. So there is a March 12, 2011 Fukushima disaster happened. So there was a huge tsunami in the Japan and the nuclear reactor that was under the flood, and that's how that accident happened. Because after that, Japanese government shut down their mini reactors at the time. So uranium price dropped near about the $40. Then again it went little bit up and after this time, but again it was down, and it was down by the since 1819 and it was near about the $20. So the uranium price are sensitive to supply issue at a key mines and remain low versus historical levels. The uranium price was above $40 per LB before Japanese demand went off after a Fukushima disaster in 2011, as Japanese and now generated capacity comes online. US $40 per LB need to become the new floor price of incentive productions. So this chart is saying the conversion price near about $20 at present, and if you see U308 after the production for the 230, it's near about $25, right? So what this means, so let's go to the next slide so we can understand the pattern. And this is about the spot market summary. So this is the details 2018 you can see, but these reports are the very relevant. And why I'm sharing with this all this information, to sharing all this information is a reason behind that, because this is the one of the sector, one of the industry we need to focus, because all the companies who belongs from this sector and other companies, they're almost down by the 50-60%. So this is the right time when we need to make our buying list. So be ready to buy some more good companies. So let's go. What is happening and what kind of preparation we need to do? So what is happening? Growing growth, electricity demand and shift away from the fossil fuels is a bullish for uranium. So what is happening? So this slide show how much percentage we are dependent on the nuclear energy, renewable energy and fossil fuels. So if you see here, right now we are here almost 2015, and this is 2020, 2025, 2030 and 2035. So it's saying coming time period, all the energy, whether that is nuclear, renewable energy and fossil energy, so that means energy that is using as a gas, as a diesel or a petrol, so all these energy, so in all the segments there will be the higher demand and all the energy segments need to grow. But nuclear is only one segment where like that is a very much cost efficient and that is going to help a lot. So what it's saying, global demand for the electricity is expected to increase at a compounding growth of 1.5% between 2015 to 2035. So these are the expectations, and this is likely look to conservative with the anticipated rapid increase in electricity vehicles. So there is going to be electricity vehicle increasing very fast pace, so we can expect more energy demand in coming years. Energy fuels currently only provide 11% of the global electricity need, assessing the nuclear shares remaining 11% as base case, but likely to grow. Expected to electricity generated from the nuclear has a compounded annual growth over 1.5% between 2015-2035, almost a 40% increase. Nuclear power is a cheap, reliable baseload supply with very low emission. Increased baseload generation capacity is essential as the world shifts away from the high carbon emission power generations. Now, here environmental concern rising, especially in non-OECD. If we see here, what is the death ratio? So this is just like this chart is going to explain about electricity supply twice as a carbon intensive as that of the different situation in different countries. So we can see here the death ratio, because all these segments, whether that is a nuclear, whether that is other fuel segments, everywhere there is some kind of pollution, right? So death rate related to energy pollution. So just for the nuclear, that is just participate 0.1 percentage, including those accident as well. So gas, this is a very minimum, like that is a death ratio because of the nuclear pollution. Highest rate is this is a brown coal 32.70. If you see the coal 24.6%, oil is 18.4. so to using the nuclear energy there is a not much death, and that is a just in this particular energy industry. So now moving to here, what is happening? Capex and cost of the power generation is competitive due to the long operational life of the nuclear power plants. So how much is the cost? So overnight capital cost by the energy types. So if you see cost for the coal, natural gas, hydro, wind, solar, geothermal, oil, nuclear, so whatever per megawatt electricity generation, that is a very much cheap with the nuclear energy. Global inventory investment of 1.8 billion versus available inventory. So this is what is going to the inventory, what will be the change, and in coming time period what will be the requirement, right? So according to this data, it's so that in future there is a huge demand, and if you see here, China and US and Russia, which countries estimated global inventory for a nuclear fuel, how much will be the requirement. So highest number of reactors China have, and after that the India have highest number of reactors. So these are the countries where is going to the maximum demand for this kind of the fuel. So let's see here. And this is uranium requirements for the global reactors under the construction. So what reactors under the construction, and what is the possibility which reactor is going to online and providing the immediate support in coming time period. So if you see, blue lines are there, so the mines, those are under the development, these blue lines. If you see, this is China developing, so these mines are the China that is already working. China is already working. Some mines are the blue that is under the construction. So there is some mine in the Korea and some other countries, their details are there. And global nuclear reactor under construction. So if you see here, so more than 20 nuclear reactor under the China that is under the construction. In India 6, Russia 6, Korea 6, United Arab Emirates is 4, and some other countries are building the nuclear reactor, and those reactor is going to consume more uranium in coming time period. So if we see the globally, so 450 reactors in operation, 50 reactors are under construction, and 111 reactors planned, and 328 reactors proposed to build. So that means there is a huge demand in coming time period. China needs more than one new Husby mine to satisfy annual requirement of the reactors currently under the constructions. China need another MacArthur River mine to satisfy their further needs. So that means there is not enough uranium going to produce in current mines, and there is so many mines they already set their productions because of different reasons, as whatever the production cost and the spot price that is not matched. So companies don't want to make losses, that's why those companies set their productions, and we are going to cover in those topics in coming time period. So this is showing China's nuclear capacity growth. So under China's 30th 5-year plan, nuclear capital will be increased at least 300% from current installed capacity of the 45 gigawatt to target 120 to 150 gigawatt by 2030. So 58 gigawatt in operations by 2020, with the further 30 gigawatt under the construction by then. So that means 2020 this is China is already achieved, and now right now they are working to installing a capacity of 120 to 150 gigawatt. That is, they have the target and projections by 2030. So 20% of the primary energy consumptions from non-fossil fuels generated by 2030. So there is a huge chance, and the expectation, so there is a huge demand for the enriched uranium for these plants, and this is the what the capacity is going to. China has 45 operating reactors, 18 under construction, and are widely expected to approve construction of 8 new reactors this year after a 3 years approval halt. To meet the upper end of 2030 target range, a further 35 gigawatt need to be built to top up of the 48 gigawatt already planned. By 2025, Chinese nuclear requirements will increase by 47% on 2018 level. That means by 2030, this will be 375% increase from 20 million pound to 75 million pound. So this is what is going to change. And what is happening to Japan? So there was a tsunami in 2011, and that's how the Japanese government decided to just shut down some of their nuclear power plants. So if you see here, this is with the black spot permanently shut down those kind of already in a Fukushima. Those plants are permanently they are shut down. No restart application with NRA. These ones don't have the application, but right now Japan facing lifetime energy crisis at this moment, because whatever the gas they're receiving from the Russia, because of the sanctions, they are not in position to buy the new gases. And the situation, Japan forced to start their nuclear generation plant as soon as possible, because this is one of the reliable source where they can use the uranium energy to satisfy the energy need of the country and energy need of their citizens and populations. This is saying global uranium supply by the country 2010. So which country is generating how much percentage? So what is the participation? Kazakhstan is producing 43% of the total global production of the uranium. So again, Kazakhstan producing 43%, and they are in the block of the Russia. There is a lots of sanction in the Russia, and it might be going to impact in future to Kazakhstan as well. I don't know that, but it might. So next big producer is 14% provided by the Canada. Australia is 9%, Namibia is 9%, Niger is 6%, Russia is providing 5% of the total global uranium supply, and Uzbekistan is 4%, China is 3%, Ukraine is 2%, USA is 2%, including other countries and producers providing 3%. So Kazakhstan, Canada is a big player into providing the uranium sectors, right? Uranium supplies. These are some very important details, and in future what is going to happen. This chart is going to explain us the current price remain deep in the cost. Kazakhstan production has been cut. 2080 is production closer to 140 million pounds. Higher price are needed for almost all current supplies to continue produce. 30% of the planned 2020 productions will be losing money at a current price. At least USD need to start expected to demand. U3O8 price need to be sustainability more than $40 per LB to incentivize extra pound of production, long delays and earn in the new projects. But right now this is near about the $50 USD per LB is already price, and some of the minings are not working, but they are working right now to start their capacity building. So once there will be the shortage, so those companies can fill the gap between demand and supply. So in future there is going to be cut off in this demand, and demand will be higher but supply will not there, because these uranium mines to build a mines, start a production and provide the finished enriched uranium, it will take 5 to 8 years to complete from a zero to production. So it's not an easy game. That's why I'm investing in this sector since 2019, and many companies I invested, diversified my portfolio. In my coming videos I will show you my portfolio, and I will show you my buying statements where when I bought and what's the current prices. But right now I'm just focusing which in this segment, person who are willing to take the risk, person who managing their own investment, and only person who can invest in this particular sector, those who have complete own responsibility to manage their own funds. I am not advising any kind of investment in this sector. I'm just providing the information, and all this information just for the education, entertainment and information only. This is not an investment advice, and I'm not a financial advisor who providing you the investment advice. So if we see, global demand for the uranium is expected to increase from non-OECD nations at a time when US and European Union utilities will need to be renegotiate supply contract. So there is a good opportunity. Uranium long-term trend supply control. So if you see here, whatever the supply is going to be shrunk because demand will be on higher side of these products. So no action under section 232, that uranium impact as of the threat of this. So US government is already working on that, and for their energy securities they already took appropriate actions whatever the required from the US government. So guys, thank you so much, and really I appreciate your time. And from the next session I will cover the good uranium mining companies where we can invest, where we can make profit. And purpose of this group, purpose of this all the presentation is I love to take benefit whatever I'm investing in the markets, nice companies with nice management where I can make exponential growth, 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x. That is what my expectation. And people who's looking to make a good profit in terms of 3x, 5x and 10x of their investment, they can follow me and they can get good advice and information, education from my side. My phone number is in the description, and if you want you can contact me. And if you want this presentation, just mention your email ID in the descriptions, so I will send you an email with all this presentation, so you have all this data. All the data available in a public domain by the Tribeca's investment site, so you can take from there as well. And or you just add your comments, your advice, or if you like, just hit a like button. If you don't like, please hit unlike button. So whatever will be there, that is going to help me to provide and improve better quality. So thank you very much guys, and see you in the next videos. And then we start slowly and gradually with covering some uranium mining companies. Thank you from the Ajit, and have a wonderful day and wish you all the best. Thank you.